good evening and welcome to EBN Weekend Edition. Today, the 12th day of August, the year 2023. Indeed, it is a very fantastic Saturday right here. Thank you for tuning in. Well, now Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition maintains that Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome is unfit to hold office. Well, a very interesting conversation right there. We are waiting to see what will transpire this coming weekend, that is tomorrow on Sunday and also on Monday, with regards to their statement that IG Koome is unfit to hold office. Well, starting us off with that exact news there, Azimio leadership has today hinted plans to have Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome leave office on claims that he is unfit to hold office. Speaking in Luanda, Vihiga County, Azimio leader Raila Odinga has slammed IG Koome for claiming that the opposition had dead bodies and claimed they were their supporters killed by the police. Maintaining his stand on power sharing, Odinga has noted that Azimio will only engage in dialogue if the government stops threatening to curtail his proposed subjects of discussion.
Sisi tulisema Wakenya wana sababu, Wakenya wana nia, tena Wakenya wana uwezo ya kuleta mabadiliko. Wakenya walijitokeza kufanya maandamano kwa sababu ya gharama ya maisha. Bei ya unga imepanda juu, ushuru umezidisha zaidi, petroli imeenda juu, sukari imeenda juu. Ni Wakenya wako na haki ya kujitokeza na kufanya maandamano kusema gharama yapunguzwe. Manake wahenga walisema ati kibebacho kikivuja na kufuu kwa mchukuzi. Sasa hao wanafanya maandamano ya kusema gharama irudisha chini, wewe unatutuma askari na kwenda na risasi kupiga wao. Alafu mwingine ambaye ati ni Inspector General ya polisi anasema tawa jamaa wanajifanya tu maiti wamekwenda kugodisha kwenye mchwari. Ati anaitwa Bwana Koome. Nilimwambia Bwana Koome, koma kabisa wewe. Usipokoma sisi tutakomesha wewe. Sasa usiseme bwana gavana, huyo Tichilo rafiki yangu sana. Usiseme tumwambia serikali ichukue hatua. Serikali gani itachukua hatua? Kama Ruto mwenyewe ameshatoa pongezi kwa hao askari, serikali gani itachukua hatua? Hakuna mtu serikali itachukua hatua, hakuna chochote. Hata muona kama wameleta rambirambi hapa. Wameleta. County Commissioner amekuja hapa. Wao wanasherekea maisha hao watu.
Hawa vijana hawakuwa kwa maandamano nje ya nyumba zao. Walikuwa kwa estate, kwa room yao, kwa chumba chao, ndugu wawili. Very young Kenyans. Ni polisi ndio walivamia mtaa wa Nyalenda, wakavunja milango, wakaingia ndani ya nyumba, wakatoa hawa watoto. Waliwapiga, wakawajeruhi hadi wakafa kule hospitali ya Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Siku ya leo nashukuru watu wa media, sababu media wamekuwa mstari wa mbele kutuonyesha zile picha za maovu ya askari hawa wa Kenya Kwanza government. We must thank the media because you have exposed police brutality in the Republic of Kenya. We saw the pictures of these young people being beaten in Nyalenda, being clobbered like snakes. Hata nyoka hapigwi kwa njia ile Brian na William walipigwa na hawa askari. Tunaomba media mtusaidie, our legal team, tukitayarisha ushahidi. We know you have the images, we know you have the faces, we know you have the identities of the rogue officers who were involved. Let us work as a team to support this family so that justice is done.
And as Azimio and Kenya Kwanza coalitions continue with the dialogue, Kakamega County leaders have today called on the Kenya Kwanza team to be flexible and allow issues raised by Azimio la Umoja be addressed. Speaking in Lugari, Kakamega County, Governor Fernandez Barasa has also asked political leaders to shun from engaging in verbal wars that may threaten the success of the dialogue.
Kama viongozi tunatilia mkazo sana mazungumzo ambayo yanaendelea hivi sasa between wale viongozi wetu wa Kenya Kwanza na viongozi wa Azimio. Na kama magovernors wote tunaunga mkono, na mimi ningependa kuambia viongozi wetu haswa wale wa Kenya Kwanza ya kwamba Baba is not interested in a handshake. What Baba is interested in is the cost of living to come down. We need to have a conversation ambayo itasaidia mambo ya kuleta amani kwa nchi yetu, kwa sababu hatuwezi kuwa na maendeleo kama hatuko na vita.
Sisi tunaheshimu rais, ni jirani yetu hapa William Ruto. Hiyo ukweli kama kiongozi. Lakini upande wa maongeo, wale watoto naitwa Kimani Ichung'wah, Bibi Nyoro, those boys watoke na ushenzi yao mbele, waache Baba Raila Amolo Odinga aongee direct na William Samoei. Kama maongezi ni haya ya vitoto hii visikae kando. Sisi tutaleta demand Baba na William Ruto wakae kwa meza wawili.
Na sisi hapa tuko chonjo. Tunasema hivi, Ichung'wah akubali mazungumzo iendelee. Mnataka mazungumzo hamtaki?
Well, now taking a look on matters agriculture. Galana Kulalu Food Security Project at the Kilifi-Tana River County's border has attracted at least 15 private investors. Water, Sanitation and Irrigation CS Alice Wahome now says the government plans to increase the 200,000-acre piece of land in a bid to expand its capability.
Varieties and fertilizer at different stages of maturity.
What we want to highlight is that, unlike other parts of the country, the maize crop takes 105 days here. So it means that with irrigation, you can actually do 3 crops a year, including a rotational crop. And when you take that into account and the high yield, then this has an opportunity of actually creating a huge transformation as far as maize is concerned. At 20,000 acres, we anticipate that we can get to as high as 2 million bags a year. And that starts now making a difference in terms of pricing. Our objective is to ensure that with this yield, we can then give back to society a lower price product that is of very, very high quality.
We've set up a pilot phase of 495 acres. And the purpose of this pilot phase is for us to, in detail, interrogate and try out different factors of production to enable us develop a standard protocol which we will use in the bigger production phase of 10,000 and 20,000 acres later on.
This particular project faced a lot of teething problems, and some of the bad problems that it faced or challenges were politicization of the project. We are here with you, the media. I would want you to take this story, this good story. From left, you will see maize of different, at a different stage. The maize I'm holding is at a different stage. I think this was the first crop that they started with. This is the first crop that they started with. I'm told we are likely to get 45, maybe if we are lucky, up to 50 bags per acre. Our pilot farms here, our pilot production, because as National Irrigation Authority, when we started, we also did piloting to see what seeds, what varieties will do well, was doing at 32 bags per acre.
Well, and still on matters agriculture, sugarcane farmers in the country have continued complaining on the plan by the Agricultural and Food Authority to suspend operations in all sugar companies in the country. Speaking in Matungu, Kakamega County, the farmers say the decision will choke their business as they have mature canes in their farms. The Food Authority has, however, said that the decision was arrived at due to shortage of raw materials, which has given certain millers a leeway to take advantage of farmers.
In April, wondered why factories without nucleus are performing well and even making profit, but those with nucleus, and he singled out Mumias and Ndoia, are making losses. We termed that as foolishness of the highest order and said he must fix the problem. Last week, the president was again categorically that poaching of sugarcane and harvesting of immature cane was being practiced by some sugar millers, technically meaning that poaching contributed to the current shortage.
Upande wa Mumias tumekuwa na ukosefu wa miwa, na hili jambo limetokana na huyu mwindi ambaye alikuja akafungua daifisa kubwa pale Mumias, ambayo ilikuja ikameza miwa zote, na hiyo ndio imepelekea ukosefu wa miwa. Miwa ambayo tuko nayo kwa sasa ni miwa ya West Kenya, na iko kwa wingi sana. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba tu ya kwamba hili jambo ambalo Rais wa Kenya anasema kwamba kuna watu ambao wanaiba miwa zingi za watu wengine, hilo ni jambo ambalo halipo. Miwa ambayo tunajua ni West Kenya, na tumepanda miwa huku tumepanda miwa za West Kenya kwa wingi, wametulimia, wametupatia mbolea, wametupatia mbegu, na hatuna wasiwasi na hiyo kampuni.
Well, and crossing over to Uasin Gishu County, the county government has announced its preparedness to host this year's devolution conference that will run from the 14th to the 18th of August. The county governor, Jonathan B., has, however, called on business operators in the county to be prepared for a major sale.
Everything has been prepared. Everything has been prepared. All the instruments are there. The speech of the president is there. The speech of the deputy president, if he will be around. The speech by everyone else who is concerned on this matter, very ready. Nataka nikumbushe wafanyabiashara wetu wa Uasin Gishu kwamba mjitayarishe. Eateries is an opportunity. Mahali watu watakula. Accommodation. Mnafikiri hao watu watalala wapi? Watalala wapi? The other day Mburia was telling me nitafutia mahali pa kulala, na inaonekana ni ngumu. Labda sasa tufanye bidii to see how we'll accommodate these dignitaries because they are coming. All our petrol stations suddenly watakuwa na pesa hujawahi kuona, because kila gari, kila pikipiki na kila mtu ataenda pale kutafuta mafuta. All our garage, wale mechanics wetu mkae tayari. Ukiona kitu kama pankia, ruka juu mara moja, fix na uende na pesa, na usiangalie nyuma. Ukiona kuna shida kidogo, hapana chelewesha, harakisha, kwa sababu anataka kutoa pesa haraka, fanya nini? Aende. Watu wa saloon na kinyozi, tengeneza your style na the way you work, the arts in your hand. Tengeneza hawa mama na warembo wote ambao wanakuja wakae smart.
Kwa wakaaji na Wakenya kwa ujumla, tunaona kama biashara itapanuka, mambo na hoteli, mambo na tourism, tutaweza kufaidika nayo. So tunasema karibuni sana Kenya kwa ujumla, tunasema karibuni Uasin Gishu county ambayo tunapenda maendeleo na tunapenda wote, karibuni.
Ukienda ku login pale unaambiwa individual una register na 20,000. Wewe niambie, kijana mmoja ako huko ako na idea, ako na innovation fulani anataka kushowcase, lakini kwa sababu hana hiyo pesa hataweza kupewa nafasi ili kuingia pale. Kwa hivyo ningependa nimize the Council of Governors in cooperation with the county government of Uasin Gishu County to consider the youths in this forum so that we can have humble time to showcase our ideas and also to feel part and parcel of this conference.
Well, lawyers of victims of the 1998 bomb blast that sent Kenya to silence have on Saturday held a meeting with the Senate committee to discuss how they will ensure the United States government compensate those affected. The victims have been demanding for compensation for over 2 decades now, with no success.
It may be good for Kenya. I think it's good for Kenya. But I said constantly, I insist, because I sued the United States for this, and I believe I'm right. And I believe if we went to a judge or a jury on the merits, we would have won a case on negligence against the United States, but we didn't get that opportunity. I believe the United States has an absolute obligation that it should have meant 24 years ago. It still has an obligation, but more important is it has an opportunity. If the United States goes along with this legislation as it should, it would be better for every single person in the United States to have a stronger relationship with the United States and, as the Senator says, to walk the talk. We're all familiar with the new African policy in 2022, and it sounds great. It reads great. I think it's fantastic. But here is an opportunity for the United States to actually say, to actually do what it says is an American value, which I believe is an American value. To be stronger friends with Kenyans, to take care of the friends that we put in harm's way, and to not leave them behind. And I think it's when you say, what can the committee do? I think the committee's influence has already been shown on August 7th. Tasco's efforts and Caroline's efforts, we are there to help. And we're confident, but it's an uphill battle for everyone. And as we've all said before, we're not going anywhere. We have enough energy to go a long time. If it's another year or 5 years or 10 years, we're here. But it doesn't have to be. What it should be is no.
Well, as Kenya joined the world to mark Youth International Day, Kiambu County government has called on the youth to embrace creativity and innovation in a bid to secure the future. Kiambu County Governor Kimani Wamatangi has noted that his government is committed to ensuring that the youth are fully involved in leadership roles. The County Governance Director Kevin Osido has urged Governor Wamatangi to set aside Kiambu Youth Day when the youth will receive empowerment and ensure they do not sink in drugs and other vices.
County's governance called upon the governor to set aside a Youth County Day where the governor would be involved in youth's dialogue and understanding the needs and challenges.
Jina Wezesha. Kwa nini na kuwezesha? Tuliweza kushirikiana na washikadau ambao hizi financial institution ilikuwa tunapeana milioni 100. Sasa wewe kijana, nenda ukapate hii fund inayoitwa Wezesha Fund. Kuna takribani bilioni 1 ambayo itakuwezesha wewe kijana. Tuambie ni biashara gani, bora uwe na cheti, either a single business permit kama wewe kijana mmoja, ama uko katika group ya watu 10, tamaduni, na pia tunataka wawe marafiki, maana hiyo ndio njia ya kila mmoja atakuwa wazee, ili tupunguze hii swala la kwamba wazee wanakufa kwa sababu ya uchawi, lakini haswa ni mashamba.
And now on matters road safety, Matatu Owners Association has announced plans to start their own driving school that seeks to retrain Matatu drivers in the country in a bid to support the government's commitment to curb road accidents that have been on the rise. Led by their chairperson Albert Karagasha, the Matatu owners have noted that the directive by the Ministry of Transport demanding Matatu drivers to undergo mandatory retraining will not be implemented as all stakeholders were not fully involved.
Tunaonelea kuwa tutakuwa na shule ya kutrain madereva wa matatu, kwa sababu ukiangalia hatuna shule ya kutrain madereva wa matatu. Tukiweza kutrain madereva wa matatu, mambo ya ajali itarudi chini. Sisi tunasema kuwa tutakaa na waziri chini na tukubaliane kuwa, kwa sababu kuna monopoly authority ili ina control mambo ya bidhaa. So hatutakubali serikali ikuje ianze kusukuma watu mambo ya fare na vitu zinapanda juu. Ukienda kwa supermarket vitu zimepanda juu. Hakuna serikali inaingilia supermarket inasema vitu zikuwe controlled. So ile kitu nasema tutakaa na waziri chini tuone vile tutasaidiana.
I would like just to highlight on few issues in regards to maybe retraining of the drivers. It's a good motive, it's a good direction, but our biggest question is, do we have proper institutions and infrastructures to make sure that whatever that is proposed actually is well implemented? That is a question. Otherwise, we don't want decisions which are made haphazardly without actually looking at the repercussions. Okay, and with that, I think we demand proper engagement with all the owners. We don't want to be disregarded. We want collaboration, because I think that is what works, even in first world.
And crossing over to Vihiga County, the county government has called on business owners and operators in the county to ensure they pay their taxes as required. Reiterating Governor Otichilo's sentiments, the County Commissioner Gilbert Kitio has sent a stern warning to those evading paying taxes, noting that the national government is working closely with county governments and soon they will get hold of businesses and individuals that have failed to comply with KRA directives.
Very little share of the shareable revenue, and as a result of that, most of that revenue goes to salaries and operations. So we need to collect our own revenue. I'm happy to note that we have already automated our revenue collection system and it's already working, and we look forward to improving our revenue collection. Our target is that we should collect at least 500 million, and the prospects are there for us to collect up to 800 million. So I want to take this opportunity to plead with our people in this county. Let us pay tax.
People must pay taxes and levies. Na wale wanavuja, action must be taken on them. Because it is only collecting taxes that the government, either county or national, can do a lot of other things. Kwa hivyo wananchi, hata tukiona tusiwache hivyo, we need to report in good time. Mheshimiwa, sisi tutakusaidia. Tutakuwa tunaangalia pia kama kuna mambo ya ushuru ikae nzuri, tutakusaidia.
Well, the government has announced plans to build modern houses for prison warders in a bid to improve their welfare. Speaking in Meru County PS for Correctional Services, Salome Muhia has stated that they seek to ensure prison warders live in prison quarters for their security. Muhia has stated that they are working closely with the State Department of Housing to ensure this is fully achieved.
The field of housing, which is an issue I have heard being mentioned again and again, especially staff housing. We are working with the PS of housing, the Honorable Hinga, to see to it already the blueprint for the housing for staff in the whole country has been developed, and the President is very emphatic that as one of the value chains in the development of the housing sector, we will try and ensure that in the next 5 years, we have considerably reduced the number of staff that live outside the prisons, because it is for our own security that the staff must live within the prison precinct.
If we are to maintain the dignity of an officer, and not just the prisons department, even the police department and all other departments, we need to give them proper housing. We've got a housing block here, but Madam Principal Secretary, I wish and I hope the officer in charge will take you round the back to see the pathetic houses they have there. So we just don't need what we heard the Commissioner General talk about, the few money. We need a big housing project if we are to house these officers.
And Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu and Interior PS Raymond Omolo have today called on residents of Kuria to shun from retrogressive cultures such as female genital mutilation, FGM. Speaking to parents, teachers and other education stakeholders during Education Day in Kuria, the two leaders have insisted that parents need to give their daughters equal education opportunities as to the boys in a bid to provide a neutral competing ground.
Wataalamu wa sayansi wameona hiyo kitu ikifanyika vile inadhuru binadamu, vile inaleta maafa, vile inaleta taabu na haina sababu yoyote. Sasa hatuwezi shughulikia na kuendelea kufanya kitu ambaye haina faida kwetu, ambaye kweli wataalamu wa sayansi, madaktari wameonyesha ya kwamba ni kitu inaleta maafa, ni kitu inaleta taabu kwetu. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni tabia ambaye kama iko pahali moja mbili inahitaji ize katika sehemu yetu hii.
Mambo ya FGM. Na nataka niombe wazee na wamama tusitoe wasichana kwa shule ili tukirudi hapa after a few years, kuna madirectors wamekuwa hapa wengi na wengi wao ni wamama. Na wamekuwa madirectors sio kwa sababu wanatoka hapa Kuria. Ni kwa sababu wameenda shule na ni watu wa
And on matters of transport, Kipchumba Murkomen has earlier today held a meeting with a delegation from Ethiopia to discuss ties between the two nations. Among the issues discussed in the meeting included the LAPSSET project that seeks to ease transport within the East African countries.
And the LAPSSET corridor is a significant enabler for enhanced regional trade integration and unlocking regional potential through infrastructure development. We cannot overemphasize the importance of infrastructure in facilitating trade and investment. Actually, this sector, which both of us have been given responsibility by our respective head of states to preside over, plays an extremely critical role. We are going to talk about African integration, about trade and investment. Infrastructure plays a very important role. And His Excellency Prime Minister Mele Zenawi, Excellency President William Ruto, as the current champion of LAPSSET corridor under the AU Presidential Infrastructure Championship Initiative, has prioritized the development of that corridor. In particular, the President has prioritized full port equipping with ship-to-shore, STS, gantry cranes, container handling equipment, and operationalization of the first 3 parts of Lamu and development of Lamu Special Economic Zone along the corridor to make LAPSSET corridor economic transport corridor.
So from Ethiopian side, the road from Addis to Moyale have been completed years ago. Industrial parks, Yirgalam Industrial Park, Hawassa Industrial Park, Bulbula Integrated Agro-Industry Park, of course, expressway from Mojo to Hawassa.
Well, that right there marks the end of EBN Weekend Edition tonight. Many thanks for tuning in. Once again, my name is Sammy Adika. Do have a lovely night.